So this is so two different views of your spine. So this is the front view. Your pelvis is right here. So this essentially shows us that your spine is straight, which is fine. This is the side view of your spine. So like this is your tailbone right here. So this is your back side, this is your front side. So each of these blocks here is bone, and then in between is the disc. So it's bone, disc, bone, disc, bone, disc all the way down. And so what we see is this anterior listhesis of your L5 on S1 is, if I zoom in here, so you can see if I try to draw a line down the back side of these bones, I get to here and I sort of have to make this little bit of a jump before I can keep going, right? So that's this anterior listhesis. It's a little bit of a shift of one segment on top of another. And when they say it's secondary to pars defects, you can sort of see, so these other structures in the back here, it's sort of, each of these blocks kind of has these like, they sort of meet in the back like this. You can see how there's a little bit of like a dark line here, like this sort of like squiggly line. There's a defect in the bone there. It's hard to say if this is something, some people are just born with it, but sometimes you can also develop this if you do certain movements. So like if you do a lot of like hyperextension, so a lot of times we see this in like volleyball players, or so doesn't sound like that's the type of activity you were doing. So that's really the primary finding. All these other things are just saying there's no like fracture, there's no like the disc spaces look okay. You don't have a, so it's not
disc. Okay.
It's not like a disc. Well, so we don't see the disc, we just see the space here. So because we don't see that it's like it's smushed, we sort of can guess that the disc looks okay.
Okay.
So yeah, so this is really that main finding there.
Okay.
So this could certainly explain your pain, though. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's the pars. Yeah, so so they call it a fracture. That's that line there. Again, it's almost impossible to tell if this was something that you were born with or if it just developed over time. So the things that we can do to help would be, so there's physical therapy, which you tried already, didn't really make a difference. Though I will say that downstairs, we have some of our therapists who are actually spine specialized. So Rebecca's actually one of our general physical therapists. So we can sort of come back to that. The next thing would be doing medications. We could do things like anti-inflammatories to try to help with the pain, but like things like more aggressive than ibuprofen. Go ahead.
So if I can just bear with the pain, it's because I don't want to be on the medication.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so we don't have to do the medications, but sometimes if it's so hard for you to do certain activities, you can use the medications to sort of help at least get you over the hump so that you can do some of these activities. So we can kind of skip over the medications too. The next step would be potentially doing like using a brace to help sort of correct